Hey! So last week I took some time off and I looked through some of my old artwork. A bunch of sketchbooks and drawings from a good 10, some of them more than 10 years ago. Drawings I did just for fun way before I went to a bunch of art schools and got my illustration degrees and all that. Which really got me thinking. Looking at my art before and after art school, I can't help but wonder, was my art degree worth doing? What did I learn in art school? And does going to art school make you a better artist in the first place? Let's find out! Hey you guys, welcome back to our channel, the #1 place for people who love design, art and all things creative. You are watching Dancier and Balog's channel, my name is Laszlo, and in this video I want to speculate on if my art degree was worth doing or not. We'll get into the investment side of things in a bit, because I believe wherever you are in the world, doing an art degree is going to require a great amount of time and money, but for the most part I wanna keep things light and fun by showing you a very hands-on approach in terms of how did art school change my art, my artistic style and image making abilities by recreating a drawing from 10 years ago. Like a draw this again kind of thing, just as an experiment. Let's get to it. Now this is a drawing I have done in 2011. I was 19 years old, just about to finish high school, and spent a great deal of my free time doing drawings like this. Graphite pencil copies of cool photos that I have found online. I choose this Joker drawing to redraw today because, well, in hindsight I do see some obvious mistakes within the actual drawing. It's still one of my favorites which I have kept on me for all these years, so I thought it would be fun to revisit it. So let's do just that. Now, art school has taught me to visually plan things out, while before I used to just start a portrait drawing, usually with the eyes of a person, and then moving around, gradually increasing my circular radius of filled-in space. I did that because eyes are the hardest, but also the truest way to capture the likeness of a person, so once that is done, everything else will likely to fall in place much easier. These days my approach is much looser, so I'm just gonna block in the basic shapes and then work on the whole composition simultaneously. I wanna put down some of the most important lines to get the overall figure in place, which will serve as guides I can work around. I remember when I was younger I used to be very precious about my artwork. I was so terrified of making mistakes and ruining my drawings that my work oftentimes ended up looking quite soft, not very confident, and for a lack of a better word, just too safe. Once I embarked on my art studies, I was constantly challenged on this by my teachers, which I gotta admit, initially I found incredibly frustrating, but as time went on I realized that was the most important part of their jobs really, to get us outside of our comfort zones. I think a good art course with good art teachers won't just let you do the kind of stuff that you already know how to do. It will push you into directions you might never explore on your own. I have spent some time learning about photography, fine art, graphics, textiles, monoprinting, all these different mediums and styles of creating, which inadvertently changed the way I think about art and my process. Different mediums and styles of creating, which ultimately expanded my skill set, and I like to think that my artistic abilities overall as well. The other thing that I found the naive 19-year-old version of me was so hung upon is clinging onto accuracy, instead of creating something new and unique within my art. I used to think that the better you can get at rendering, making your drawings photorealistic, the better artist you are. Now, 10 years down the line, I know for sure that that's just not true. Making a mark and creating a style is much more valuable and profitable on the long run than meticulously copying photos, because the thing is, perfectly recreating a photograph is, a very desirable art skill. But at the same time, let's be honest, it's not much more than a party trick really. I got some technically strong drawings in this 10-year-old portfolio, very accurate renderings, but are these inspiring, good artworks? I'm not sure. That's just not what good art is to me anymore. I used to ignore my instincts and go for the rendering style closest to the photo I'm copying to the best of my abilities at the time. Huge mistake. If your gut tells you to go one direction, even if it's against the photos and the references you are using, I believe it's your artistic duty to go for it and see what happens. You need to do these explorations and take your chances within your work, because that's what's going to elevate the quality of your art, right? Okay, my last technical finding is a bit controversial, but I think if you're considering pursuing a degree in the arts, we do need to talk about it. And that is profitability and the market value of your artwork. These days I don't really do drawings like this. For one, Now I know that copying photos like this can get you into all sorts of legal issues with copyrights. So if anyone wants you to draw someone famous, collage a couple different photographs and use that as reference instead of just copying one image, right? And also it feels like this kind of artwork just not worth my time anymore. So I'd much rather do something heavily stylized, unique and fresh. Something that will make people go, oh, this is a drawing by Les. Instead of them saying, oh, cool drawing of the Joker, but I kinda feel like I've seen this one before, haven't I? That's not to say that you shouldn't draw portraits. If you find it fun, go ahead. It is a fun thing to do after all, but chances are this is not the kind of artwork which will help you build your brand and strengthen your portfolio as an artist. So I would keep these in your free time. Now, say what you want about the quality of my artworks 10 years apart. Now that it's done, I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room. Higher education in art and design, diplomas and degrees are really expensive. I said it earlier, I think wherever you are in the world you have to know that getting an art degree is a serious investment. And you should not forget that most artistic fields don't really care if you come from formal education or not. One of my lecturers always used to say, illustrators don't have CVs, illustrators have portfolios, and that's just real. Creative agencies and studios will never ask you what uni you went to or what your grades were if you're trying to make it as an artist. They just wanna know if you can do the job or not. Which obviously raises the question, what is the point of doing all that hard work to get a degree then? Is it worth it? Year by year, tuition fees are climbing up globally, while job opportunities are getting more scarce, making the creative fields a really competitive job market. Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize that means that your art degree can decrease in value as time goes on. Year by year, it's getting harder to justify getting an art degree, right? Well, listen, I can only speak for myself, and my experience would be completely different to your own unique perspective. Also, I reserve the right to change my mind about this in the future, but as of now, I still think that formal education tends to be a good investment. So if you have the chance and this is what you wanna do, you should do it. But at the same time, I'm also aware that for me, it was a lot of hard work and a lot of luck as well. A lot of stars had to align for me to make sure that I can afford all the costs that would come with my art education. I mean, I would be lying if I said it wasn't incredibly difficult. Listen, I don't come from wealth. I grew up being the eldest child in a family of 5 in an Eastern European country. And as the case is in most big families, money was a bit of a struggle growing up every now and then. And still, I always felt privileged because my parents, bless them, they have never, not once, raised concerns about my artistic aspirations and the shaky financial future which this thing would obviously bring within itself. They saw that this is what I cared about from a very young age, and they supported me all the way through. They believed in me even at times when I didn't really believe in myself. And I know for sure that a lot of you guys, young people who are watching, you might not have the supporting family and friends encouraging you to take the steps that I took. Most parents would much rather push their kids into medics or law or economics or engineering, basically anything but the humanities, please. Just to make sure that once you are done you can get what they call, you know, a real job. You will meet a lot of people like those kind of parents, which will ultimately affect your career aspirations, of course. So if you are unsure about this whole thing, if you are on the wedge, let me tell you how I made up my mind. 10 years ago, when it was my time to choose what I want to do with my life, there were two main areas, two main aspects that I have shown affinity for at school. There was the visual arts and design, and there was ICT and computing. I had an interest in both, and not to toot my own horn, but I was pretty good at both as well. So I had to have a long hard think within myself and decided that ultimately computing, while it sounds interesting, it's not what's going to make me, you know, happy. It would have been the safer option to go into IT, probably the more profitable one too, but I'm 100% sure that had I gone down that path, I would have spent the rest of my life thinking, gosh, I should have went with art. I would be living with regret instead of living my truth. And for me that felt like a price much higher than any possible college tuition fee. Hope that helps. Guys, let me know what you thought of this draw this again reminiscing kind of video and your opinions on art education. And join our design tribe if you're into this kind of content and you haven't already done so. We aim to give you 2 videos every week about art, design, illustration, architecture, interior design, all those cool things and everything in between. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one and I'll hope to see you this time next week. Bye!